Hello, mysterious person behind the screen, and welcome to another Doctor Who commentary with me and Isaac.
Hello, everyone.
And this time we are on the third Doctor, John Pertwee. We are doing the Dæmons. So, yeah, without further ado,
If you'd like to sync this up with your own copy of the Demons, put the episodes to the start on Play All and press play in 3, 2, 1, go.
a classic to end season 8 of the show.
Yeah, it's this is my second favourite Pertwee story after Inferno.
It is good.
Yeah.
It is a
hmm
bloody good one. It's perfect to watch around spooky season, around October, because even just the way this
It is,
opens.
yeah.
Even just the way this opens
I
with a
think
big
it's
thunderstorm
yeah.
and it's in the dark and everything, it sets the tone immediately.
And I think it's probably the only Pertwee story that has a Halloween or spooky edge to it. And I
Mm.
suppose the only other one that could come close to that is Inferno, because the Primords look a lot like werewolves.
Yeah, that's true. And Inferno kind of has that doomsday feel to it,
It
like
does, yeah,
everything's going to hell. But yeah,
yeah. What they should have done is in Inferno is uh, leave the Mohole project, go to the pub, have a nice cold pint, and wait for all this to blow over. Can you imagine the Doctor shooting one of the Primords if the Brigade leader turned into one? I said leave him alone!
like
Yeah, this opening is great.
yeah,
Sets the tone perfectly.
yeah, dark graveyard, thunderstorm, black cats, and
hmm
it works really well.
Yeah. And if you do want to watch a Doctor Who story on Halloween, I'd say definitely this one. And
Mm.
by the time you get to the Philip Hinchcliffe era, you've pretty much got your pick.
Yeah, pretty much all of season 13.
Definitely, yeah. And interestingly enough, I'd say for season 14, it's the only one that's appropriate is probably Talons, because it has that Jack the Ripper feel to it.
Yeah, yes, yeah, I would say so. Yeah, Talons kind of has a slasher feel to it with Mr. Sin and
Yeah,
everything. Feels like a slasher film at points.
yeah. I'd say for other Doctor Who stories set on Halloween, in other Doctor series, I'd say for the fifth Doctor, probably Kinder and maybe The Awakening.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Visitation might be a good one as well because that's got obviously the death. Um,
Oh yeah, it
yeah, like the
does.
Grim Reaper robot in it and stuff.
The sixth Doctor, I actually can't think of any of his TV stories where they'd fit nicely into Halloween.
Me neither. Yeah.
Yeah. With the seventh, probably I'd say Ghostlight and The Curse of Fenric.
Yeah, you could double bill those absolutely. Those
Yeah.
those work very very well. As really spooky Doctor Who stories. Always Ghost like you've got the old like it's almost like a haunted house thing.
Yeah. Ninth Doctor, I'd say Empty Child, Doctor Dancers.
Mm.
Ten has quite a few. I'd say Tooth and Claw, definitely. Um, Maybe The Impossible Planet and The Satan Pit.
Yeah.
Maybe also stories like Blink and Midnight and Silence in the Library.
Well, 10 was gonna have like a Stephen Fry written story, wasn't it? And it was gonna be like set on the set of like Most Haunted, wasn't it?
Oh, I didn't know that, but I knew
Yeah.
Stephen Fry was gonna submit an episode. Yeah, and we got Fever
Yeah.
instead.
I might be mixing information there.
Oh.
That
hmm
might be two separate things, but I definitely know there was gonna be it was gonna be like a Most Haunted thing, and it was gonna start off, and then suddenly the Doctor was gonna turn up. Um,
Ah,
that
okay.
might have been the Stephen Fry one. It might not have been, but yeah.
Yeah, I love how Bessie is alive.
Yeah, it's a
That's
unique thing.
definitely that's definitely Pertwee's love of technology and cars and transport coming through.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And You know, it's always nice to think of Brum when watching the
Yep.
Third Doctor's era.
Oh yeah, Bessie is Brum's mum. We
Bessie
are
is
making
Brum's
that
mum.
canon.
Brum
And
is
it's interesting
canon.
about Pertwee is that I'd say him along with Tom Baker, I see them as, this is going to sound weird, but I see them as performers. For example, they're very good at performing their personality
Mm.
on screen, which translates very well to the character of the Doctor. Whereas if you look at doctors like Patrick Troughton, Peter Davison, and I'd probably say Peter Capaldi, they're great actors. For example, they're very versatile. They can be very different if you see them in something else.
Yes, I
Yeah,
would agree. Yeah, with with Pertwee especially, you get the sense that that is just him on screen,
yeah,
and
but yeah.
he put a lot of himself into the character. I think.
Because with Troughton, he went from playing the Doctor for 3 years to a very serious role in a Henry VIII drama. Because I think he played the Duke of Norfolk.
Oh God, yeah, yeah,
Now this story predicted BBC Three.
yeah. BBC Three. It was it's quite a few decades before BBC Three actually launched, wasn't it? That it was around the
Yeah, it was like
early 2000s.
2002, three, something like that.
Something like that, yeah. It was early 2000s for sure.
Because yeah, early 2000s is when we started getting more digital channels.
Mm.
Like, for example, CBBC and CBeebies, they got their own channels because they used to just occupy like 2 hours a day on BBC One.
Yeah, like time
Typically
slots
when
on the channel.
yeah, typically when kids would either come home from school or when they were just about to start the school day.
Yeah, 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 for sure.
Heck, it's when the Sarah Jane Adventures would come on. I think the first two series were shown on BBC One.
Yeah, I think they were shown on CBBC first and then repeated on BBC One, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely the
Series two was great for me because I could watch. So I remember watching, episodes of series two where I didn't have to wait a whole week for the cliffhanger to be resolved.
for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I remember watching series two. Put me off watching the rest of the show for a long time until like 2011, I'd say, when I went back and watched it all, because series two has the episode with Day of the Clown, and
Oh yeah,
that shit me up when I was younger. I
and
genuinely
Bradley Walsh.
and Bradley Walsh, yeah. No, that episode really was probably the scariest thing I'd ever seen in Doctor Who or Sarah Jane. Like for me at that age, I was
Yeah.
just so terrified of it, and it really put me off watching the show until it was around series 4 or 5 when I went back and watched it all
hmm
from the start again.
Yeah. So I wonder if this archaeological dig is being shown in between repeats of Little Britain and two pints of
Yeah.
lager and a packet of crisps, then followed by Torchwood.
Yeah, and then, to be fair, towards the end, it was just repeats of Family Guy, wasn't it, in the evenings?
Oh
It's just
yeah,
endless repeats of Family Guy.
and it with the uncensored version.
Yeah.
BBC. It's not like that. I mean, it's not like the BBC are scared of censoring themselves.
Mm. Something that's quite apparent in all of the episodes apart from part 4 is that is the color recovery technique on the demons.
It is, yeah. There is a notable difference when you
Yes.
watch it.
They have done a bloody good job. It still looks very patchy, but they've done a really good job at restoring the color to this.
Yeah, I'd
It's
say
impressive.
probably the weakest. I'd say the weakest color restoration we've got is the Ambassadors of Death, but I can forgive that because
Mm.
that was so hard for them to do. And I think definitely with technology improving and hopefully for the eventual season 7 Blu-ray, the restoration will look a lot better.
For sure, yeah. I mean, Invasion of the Dinosaurs looked really patchy as well, to the point where the color version of that is only available as an extra, and the default is the black and white version of episode 1.
Yeah,
And yeah, with all these colorizations, as we saw from the season 10 Blu-ray with Planet of the Daleks episode 3, that looked a lot better than its DVD counterpart. So with technology improving, these colorized stories are only going to look better and better. And
Mhm.
plus, this was the genesis of the restoration team, wasn't it? Back in the 90s, colorizing
Yeah,
this.
because there's a bonus feature on the DVD called Tomorrow's World, which is about
Yeah,
how they
yeah.
restored the demons.
Because wasn't
Yeah,
didn't
because
they restore it for like a BBC Two repeat initially?
I it might have been, yeah,
Yeah,
because yeah, BBC in the early '90s, Alan Yentob, who I think he was head of BBC Two at the time and quite a big fan of Doctor Who, and tried to get it back on TV for a lot of years. It would be he thought about putting out classic Doctor Who serials repeated on BBC Two just to try and get more interest
yeah,
going, and it really worked. Because I think it was the Time Meddler repeat for Hartnell, the Mind Robber for Troughton, and I think they showed this story to represent Pertwee.
yeah. It's a bloody good one to show. It's as Tomb of the Cybermen was. We discussed that in the last commentary. This is a perfect sum up of his era. It's
Hmm.
completely set on Earth. We don't see the TARDIS. The Master's in it. Unit are heavily involved. It's a very good representation of the Pertwee era. If you showed this to someone and was like, yeah, this is what this era is like, it's
Yeah,
it works
because with
well.
Inferno, even though it's my favourite, if I had to choose one that best represented his era, I'd say this one.
Yeah, yeah, and because as great as season 7 is, a lot of season 7 is sort of laying the groundwork for the era, and
Yeah,
season 8 cements it in. So
yeah,
yeah.
this has a more family-friendly feel to it, whereas season 7 was lot darker and grittier,
Mm,
I'd say.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, I'd love to go to this village one day.
Me too. Yeah, I think it's in
Because
Wiltshire.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
so.
because I know a lot
Yeah,
of Doctor Who fans do go up there,
for
and I
sure.
hope
Yeah.
for the eventual season 8 Blu-ray we get the Return to Devil's End um, documentary. Is that it?
The one with Damaris Heyman in it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I think it's like a film. I think I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know. Yeah, yeah. They did release it on Blu-ray. It's um
yeah, because I've never seen it before, but I'd love to.
yeah. I've never I've the only one of those films that they've been releasing on because they did Downtime. They did that. They've done all sorts from the sort of the wilderness years. This independent company have released them. They're not tied to the BBC or anything, but the only one I've seen is Downtime when they released that.
I've not seen any of them. The only one, I mean, I've actually seen a review from Thalos and Linkara. They teamed up a
Yeah,
couple of years back to review the Airzone solution, and that is bizarre to say the least.
yeah. A lot of them are very bizarre. I mean, I know.
It's so weird of the Fifth Doctor to say to the Seventh Doctor something along the lines of, "We haven't got time to put up with your bullshit." It's so
I mean,
weird.
I know I think it's in the what's it? It begins with an S. Stranger. In one of those films, there's a pseudo sex scene between Colin Baker and Sophie Aldred, which if
Oh,
you've ever
that's when fan
seen,
fiction
yeah,
goes too far.
if you've ever seen that, it's bizarre. I've not seen the full thing, but that clip is just that does the rounds on Twitter from time to time as sort of a what the hell is this kind of thing.
I wonder if it was made by the same people who like to see 13 and Yaz together.
You never know. Yeah, never know.
Uh,
To be fair, I could go with like 13 and Yaz being a thing in the vein of 10 and Rose, but there's no evidence on screen really to show that
mhm.
there's a special bond between those two compared to Graham and Ryan. Or at least I've not picked up
Yeah,
on anything there. I think most people go, "Oh, she smiled at her once in that episode, therefore they're in love." Um, but I've not really picked up on anything.
the Master's theme. Boom, boom, boom.
Bum, bum, bum. It's in this story a lot.
Yeah.
Brigadier looking very distinguished.
Almost like General Melchett.
Yeah. That's one thing about this is the Brigadier. He is in it, but his role is fairly small in this.
I will say this about Dudley Simpson's music. It's kind of, as I get older, it kind of sounds a lot more blander to me, and okay, maybe not bland, just like just a bit repetitive, because obviously it's done by just one person, and obviously they were happy, directors were happy to use it. And it's just, you start picking up similar cues, and you think, yeah, it's nice and all, but would it be cool if someone else did
I get what
the
you
music
mean.
for a change? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I like 80s music so much, because
Yeah.
there's a different composer every story.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, for me, it's okay during the Pertwee and the Triton era, but when it gets to Tom Baker era, I feel like he got into a groove and he sort of just stayed there. I like a lot of the music in that era, but it's very sort of samey.
For me, his best music comes in the Hinchcliffe era.
Oh, really?
Because with especially Genesis of the Daleks, Philip Hinchcliffe
That's
would say
true,
to
yeah.
him, when the Dalek appears, we don't just want this pepper pot going across the screen. We want it to count. So do what you like with the music, make it powerful.
Yeah, we don't just want what we got in Death to the Daleks.
Duh, 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 duh.
It's just like comedy music for the Daleks.
Now, the bit that just went by is Joe reading the map upside down, which I don't think was in the script.
Yes, she's very short-sighted, isn't she? Yeah.
Does she wear contact lenses, Katie Mann? Still?
I'm not sure, you know. I know that recently she had trouble with her eye, because I remember seeing some of her little videos on Twitter, and she had like an eye patch on, like a bandage on her eye, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know not long after she appeared in Doctor Who, she went to Australia to further her career, but I think she came back in 2009 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
well,
I think she's stayed in England ever since, I think.
yeah, she's great. She's brilliant. It's a birthday around about now, isn't it? Any day now. It's her birthday from when we're recording this. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to meet her one day, because she just seems like that cool grandma you meet at every
She
party.
really is. She's just so warm and loving, and it's always, yeah. Every time I see her tweets, it brightens up the day. She's just brilliant.
Yeah, she's brilliant. Now, I think it would have been quite cool, but obviously hard for the writers to get everyone to do something, is if in season 10, when the Doctor's exile is lifted, all the unit crew are still inside the TARDIS and he accidentally takes them with him.
That would have been quite cool.
Kind of like, and kind of like with Hartnell, you know, he's struggling to get them back home.
Yeah, that would have been really cool. The only problem with that is it's quite a lot of cast members to like write for.
Yeah, it's like 5 main characters.
You'd probably get stories where like, oh, Yates has got food poisoning, so he's staying in the TARDIS today.
Yep.
Like what happened in the Fifth Doctor's era. You get to Kinder and it's like, oh, Nyssa fainted, so she's just gonna have a rest in this story and not be in it.
Yeah. Well, the reason for that is because Christopher Bailey wrote the story for Tom Baker's Doctor, and he said, and the brief was there'll be 2 companions to write for, Tegan and Adric, and Nyssa was obviously quite a late addition, and by the time Peter was cast, the script was ready to go into production, and there was no time to rewrite everything to include Nyssa, so into the cupboard she went.
Yeah. It's at the end of Four to Doomsday, isn't it? It's just, oh, Doctor, and then she just collapses, and you just hear Nissa, and the theme just kicks in. It's like, what? Bit abrupt.
Yeah. Yeah, and the funny thing is, next time we see her, she's playing chess with Adric? Is that supposed to help her de-stress?
Yeah, she's just like, yeah, it's bizarre. It's really bizarre. He pulls that cloak off really well.
He does, yeah.
It's so cool. I really want to get the figure set of this, but don't know how expensive that would be.
Delgado is just effortless.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. He's so good, and he's got such a great amount of screen presence that you buy everything he does. Like the disguise earlier, you genuinely buy him as this kind of kind guy.
Yeah,
because there's so many layers to the performance, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think we spoke.
I'm not going to attempt to say his full name.
Oh yeah, it's badass though. It's like Roger Castillos. It's
Marius the Delgado.
Yeah, it's so cool. What a name.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, going back to it, like, I think when we did On Her Majesty's Secret Service, we mentioned that sort of George Lazenby in that was playing Bond in disguise, but because of his lack of acting ability, he didn't quite pull it off right, and it wasn't so much a performance in a performance, it was just a performance. Delgado is the perfect example. When he does disguises, he's playing it as the master playing a disguise, and there's a distinction there. It works really well.
Yeah, because even if sometimes the story isn't that good, the master just enlightens it during the Pertwee era. Because I'd say, like, he's probably the best thing about stories like the Time Monster or Colony in Space.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure, definitely, Time Monster.
Whereas in we go to Anthony Ainley, and as much as I love him, you go to stories like Time Flight and Kinder, where I'm just pulling my hair out, saying, "Why are you here?"
Well, you can always count on Ainley to just turn up out of nowhere and just go,
yeah,
just sort of chuckling.
It's because, I mean, even in King's Demons, the Doctor admits the whole preventing the signing of Magna Carta. He even says small villainy by his standards. Is the writers just obviously trying to troll us and say this is a whole waste of time?
Probably shouldn't admit that in your script.
Yeah. Because, actually, no, if it was the meddling monk, I could have bought this.
Yes,
because trying to prevent the signing of Magna Carta and messing about with history, that's something he'd do.
Yeah, because
I don't know why it's... I mean, yeah, I don't know why it's such an issue. I don't know why he wants to do it then, because that very same year, King John asked the Pope, "Do I really have to follow Magna Carta?" And he was just like, "No, you don't." It didn't really have much of an effect on the world until like the 1700s.
Yeah, didn't have much of an impact.
They'd be waiting a while. Heck, I've seen the Magna Carta bill at Lincoln Castle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So this is one of the rare Doctor Who stories that deals with black magic.
Yeah.
Didn't go into that subject often.
Yeah, I'd say the closest after this is probably Mask of Mandragora.
Yeah. Yes,
Mandragora.
yeah, for sure.
And I suppose maybe the Shakespeare Code, because you've got the voodoo doll.
Yeah.
That could be quite close.
I guess maybe K9 and Company, if you count that.
Oh yeah, that. Equity. Now, this story and the Time Monster, they both have very similar cliffhangers. It's the Doctor and Joe trying to stop a demonstration of something that will unintentionally release something evil.
Yes, yeah.
Here it's them trying to stop the dig. Time Monster trying to stop the Tom Tit device.
Yeah, Tom Tit. That's a great cliffhanger.
Now let's sniff out Tom Tit with our phallic-looking TARDIS sniffer outer. They must have known what that looked like. They must have been trolling the
It
audience.
must have been intentional. It really must have been. There's no.
Honestly, the Time Monster is the perfect Doctor Who parody
Yes,
because
yeah.
it's got science that doesn't make any sense. It's got an over-the-top villain, a rubbish-looking monster, um, elements from history, innuendos, an
Yeah.
over-the-top, an over-the-top TARDIS interior. Yeah, I'd just say it's probably the perfect Doctor Who parody.
Yeah, for sure.
I do love these titles. They're like fire.
They are really cool, yeah.
Yeah.
It makes a bold
Take
statement.
forward. We're in colour
We're
now.
in colour. We're not just in ordinary colour, we're in full colour.
Even though 95% of you probably still have black and
Yeah.
white television sets. I mean,
Even
I remember reading the Armageddon Factor when it got the fact of fiction treatment in Doctor Who magazine. I can't remember who wrote the episode breakdown, but he said this story will hold a special place in my heart because it was the first story I was able to watch, a Doctor Who story I was able to watch in colour because we recently got a colour TV. And you just think, as late as 79, people were still watching in black and white.
yeah, for sure, yeah. I mean, isn't there like some wacky figure that like nowadays there's still a certain amount of people that still have black and white TVs or something?
I don't know, I've never heard.
Yeah, there's
But,
some
I mean,
weird like
we do seem
figure.
to have a weird nostalgia for the past because we've now got big headphones coming back and vinyl.
Well, yeah, the vinyl resurgence, isn't it? Is and even cassette tapes are now a thing. I think you can buy cassette tapes from HMV now, so that's come back.
Yeah, okay, the packaging for them is nice, but the whole point of DVDs and Blu-rays was that they were smaller than VHSs, so you could have storage spaces,
Well,
bigger storage spaces. So why take a step backwards?
well, that's the thing. I can see why vinyls have come back because the audio quality is superior. I can
Yeah.
see that. The resurgence of cassette tapes and VHSs, they puzzle me because aside from looking cool, the quality and the actual the use of the product is worse than the modern formats. So I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I do collect VHSs, as in if I see them like in a charity shop, I will buy them. If it's like a film that I really like, I will buy it as just like this is quite cool. But I never.
I'd only collect the VHSs. I'd only collect the VHSs that I used to have as a kid.
Yeah, I mean,
That would be a lot of. It'd be a lot of Thomas the Tank Engine, Postman Pat, Rosie and Jim,
yeah,
Tot TV, Disney films on VHS.
yeah. Well, earlier in the year, I found an old box of VHSs in the attic, and it was all Disney films, and I've now got them sort of stacked up in the corner of my room just because they look too cool to be put away. So yeah. And of course, this is written by Guy Leopold, which is a pseudonym, isn't it?
For Robert Sloman and Barry Letts.
Yes,
yeah.
indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, I think as writers they were really, really good.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see who had the biggest contribution to this, though. Like who was the most
Me
kind of
yeah.
influential on the script.
Because I think with stories like The Green Death and Planet of the Spiders, you can definitely see Barry Letts' influence because
Yeah.
it's kind of backed up by the making of documentaries. Because in The Green Death, Terence says, "Oh, Barry once came into the office saying how disgusted he was with how we treat the environment and industrialism and things like that."
Yeah.
And obviously, Barry Letts was a Buddhist.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
And I guess Letts the idiot can't keep his politics out of Doctor Who.
Dr. Nasty uses violence on his victims. I don't know.
Well, it does. It does use Venusian Aikido.
Yeah, exactly.
Hi, ha!
Not my doctor. My doctor doesn't use violence.
Oh, that pisses me off when people criticise the Sixth Doctor and say he's too violent. Did you watch the Third Doctor? Seriously?
Hey!
People take issue. Because people took issue with him in Attack of the Cybermen beating up one of the policemen that attacks them.
Yeah.
But where were you when the Third Doctor blatantly goes, hi, ha, to people he sees? In fact, one of my favourites is in Day of the Daleks when one of the the gorilla rebels come in. He just goes, hi, ha, and then takes a sip of his wine.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's so
that is
cool.
probably the most. It's probably the most James Bond that the Doctor's ever been.
Very much so. It makes me laugh in
Yeah.
in the Gunfighters. I never touch alcohol, but a glass of milk, and I should be only too delighted. Hoo-hoo. Cut to Pertwee, and he's drinking the wine, going, excellent vintage.
hmm Well, interesting enough about the Doctor and alcohol is that I think in the Seeds of Doom, when the Doctor and Sarah found in the Antarctic after the explosion, the Doctor was supposed to take a drink of brandy and go cheers, but Tom Baker objected to it, saying, "I don't think children should see the Doctor drink alcohol or smoke."
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you're a kid and you see your heroes smoke or drink, it's kind of a betrayal because it's only something adults do.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Doctor's gone into a deep freeze coma, which never happens again apart from Planet of the Daleks.
Yeah, Planet of the Daleks reminds me of that. Yeah.
Heck, I don't think I've ever seen any other Time Lord do it.
Well, yeah. Just another single incarnation oddity. It's like Pertwee's tattoo in Spearhead.
Oh god, there's a theory that that's supposed to be the mark of exile from the Time
Yeah.
Lord, something like that. Apparently, even Pertwee couldn't tell you how he got that tattoo because he got drunk one night and woke up with it.
That's what I mean. You can just explain anything away in the Doctor Who universe that doesn't make sense. You can just explain anything with some mad theory.
Like Season 6B.
Yes.
Now, of course, if this was a Hartnell or Troughton story, the Doctor being frozen would have been their holiday for a week.
Yes. I was going to say, yeah. Oh, Bill Hartnell's gone on holiday, so the Doctor's gonna have a sleep for a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, then what I love about this story is how much Yates and Benton have to do. And I like how they're not in their military uniforms, they're actually in civvy clothes, which is really nice to see.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. They've got a lot to do, and they work really well. And actually, these hoof prints here, they are actually done quite well. That's a decent effect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and according to John Levine, they were quite close to getting a unit spin-off on TV.
Ah, really? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been the Brigadier, Captain Yates and Sergeant Benton. Maybe throw in Corporal Bell for good measure. To say, freak weather conditions. Yeah, whenever it snows, I always quote that. I say,
yeah.
freak weather conditions. Yeah, because one scene it's with Pigbin Josh, it's not snowing, and then obviously they put in that line, there's freak weather conditions, and you can see snow everywhere.
Yeah.
It was apparently that story that convinced the production team that maybe filming every story on location wasn't so much of a good idea. But it's amazing to think how from 1970 to 1974 there were only two stories that were completely studio bound, and that was the Curse of the Peladon stories, and Yeah, and by the Graham Williams era, it was kind of half and half. You'd have half studio, half that would have location filming.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Sometimes they wouldn't even have a set to go into, and it'd all be done on a blue screen. Yeah, I'd love to meet John Levine one day because he seems like the nicest guy in the world.
Oh, he is, yeah. When I met him, he was in good spirits. I know some fans sort of
Hmm.
say that if you catch him on an off day, he can be quite abrupt. But every time I've met him,
Yeah.
he's been great. So I don't know,
Hmm.
maybe just one of those things. It's sort of, as you know, we all
Yeah,
have
because he
off
was at
days.
he was at LFCC last year, and sadly I missed him because he wasn't there on the Sunday, and he was only
Oh,
offering £10 for a photo and an autograph. And yeah, I definitely would have met him if he was there on the Sunday. And
yeah.
from what I heard, a lot of fans really liked him. Apparently, he wouldn't leave until everyone who came to see him got either a photo, an autograph, or a chat with him, something like that.
Well, yeah, he's always very like he interacts with fans for so long, and the queues get really long because he spends and like if you I did when I met him, I didn't ask him to do this, but I know a lot of Doctor Who YouTubers do. They ask him to do a little message for their YouTube channel, and he always does it. And it's not like a 10-second thing saying go subscribe to this YouTube channel. It's always like this 2-minute clip of him going, whoever's watching this, God bless you. What are you gonna do today? Make sure your life's full of wonder and achievement and stuff. It's always like this 2-minute thing that he always does. He loves it.
Yeah, definitely. I think he takes with the motto, if life gives you lemons, make lemonade.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. What do you think of Damaris Heyman in this?
She's really good in this, yeah.
I think she's great. Yeah, and I think the character's very memorable.
Maybe Big Finish should do a Devil's End spin-off.
Yeah, and because she's still alive, bring her back for it.
Yeah.
Because she did the Return to Devil's End thing. So yeah,
And Christopher Barry directed this story. He said it was his favourite one.
it's not surprising. It's yeah.
Yeah,
He
this was the first story he directed since the Troughton era. I
yeah
think since Power of the Daleks.
yeah. Well, the direction's very good in this, and especially later on when Azal goes massive. The shots like
Hmm.
looking down, like almost from his perspective, look really good, like really ambitious.
Hmm.
It's really well done.
Yeah. Apparently by the time Creature from the Pit came along, he really fell out with Tom Baker.
That doesn't surprise me. I mean, a
Because
lot of people did.
yeah, with Robot and Brain of Morbius, he was directing Tom early in his era, where he was
Yeah,
quite eager to start. But by the time we get to the Graham Williams era, it's pretty much the Tom Baker show.
exact. Well, that's the thing. He was always like, "This is my
I mean,
show." Yeah,
Anthony Ainley said back then Tom was the actor, Tom was the writer, Tom was the director, Tom was the producer.
yeah. I'd
Oh, the
honestly.
gun comes apart here.
Oh yeah,
And that poor guy's trying to keep it together.
yeah. He's really trying.
Yeah, and as we later see in episode 3, Yates gets the motorbike chase with the helicopter.
Mm.
So it's just a great way of getting both of them to shine with Benton fighting this guy.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. That is really. Uh. Yeah, works really well.
Yeah, Pertwee, I know, did get on very well with Roger Delgado. apparently when he started, he felt a bit resentful of him because he was a brand new enemy, and he thought, because obviously John Pertwee was quite new, he thought, oh, is this going to take away from my limelight? Is it going to be like a viewer's going to remember him more than me?
Yeah, yeah. I can see that. Yeah. Second season, you're immediately thrown into this kind of cartoony thing. Obviously not like silly cartoon, but like this cartoonish formula of having a regular cast and then this big bad villain that messes things up every week. I can definitely see it.
But from what I heard from cast members is that he'd always make every actor or actress feel welcome whenever it was a new story. But apparently by season 11, particularly with stories like The Monster of Peladon and Planet of the Spiders, he just felt very distant to them because obviously he was leaving.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, he can. It's interesting. So I think this
guy's a milkman, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, notice milkmen really don't get to catch a break in
They
Doctor Who,
don't,
do
no.
they? Because you've got this guy in the Demons, you've got the one in Survival who's kidnapped by the cheetah people.
Yeah.
And then you've got the guy at the start of the Stolen Earth who sees
Saturday.
the entire Earth moved. Yeah. Oh, good. I like Saturdays. Probably because Doctor Who's on.
On a Saturday, yeah.
That's why. Then he makes that joke in Silence in the Library where Donna says, maybe it's a Sunday, and he says, no, I never land on Sundays.
Hey, not until the
And now
Chibnall era.
Doctor Who's on a Sunday. Mm-hmm.
So I think this serial is paced very well, and especially because it's a very unusual length, because it's 5 episodes rather than 4 or 6, which is quite unusual for the classic series. I think it's written perfectly. I think the pacing's very, very well done.
Yeah, because it's not... Because with the Dominators and the Mind Robber, even though they're 5-parters, they weren't written and structured to be that way.
Yeah.
They were going to be a 6 and a 4-parter. They just mercifully got an episode cut off them.
Yeah, victims.
And I know you're on your... I know you're into Troughton on your rewatch, and
yes,
I'd advise you to watch the documentary about the making of the Dominators because, man, it was a nightmare.
Yeah, I'm planning on.
It was such a nightmare. It really was.
Yeah, I'm planning on doing that. In my rewatch, I'm not watching like all the documentaries, but I'm watching sort of ones that are sort of key for like key stories and stuff like that. So yeah, I might check that out because from the signs of it, it was complete nightmare, and that it kind of shows that story's a bit of a mess.
Yeah, because the writers, Mervyn Haseman and Henry Lincoln, they wanted to, like, I think, keep the rights to the Quarks, kind of like how Terry Nation did with the Daleks.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I've heard about that.
Which caused so many problems for Derek Sherwin and Peter Bryant, and it just got to the point where Derek Sherwin says, I'm not going to be asking you back, ever.
Yeah, because wasn't there some story as well that, like, the actors were getting really frustrated with it on set as well, because there was this constant arguing from the higher-ups.
So, yeah.
And, like, Triton was just, like, so done with it.
Yeah, he didn't even want to... I think he refused to do the location work, because if you notice at the end where the Doctor's running across the quarry, it's clearly not Troughton.
Yeah.
Magister. Magister is Latin for master.
Yeah, the more you know.
I suppose it's better than his disguises in the Anthony.
Oh yeah, with like Khalid and
the Scarecrow.
Why?
Why? It doesn't make any sense.
I just oh, it makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Every time I watch a Fifth Doctor story in particular, I'm always waiting for Mr. Snrub to appear.
In fact, I'd say the only Anthony Ainley disguise that works in the 80s is probably the Portreeve in Castrovalva, because it actually serves a purpose. He's trying to trap the Doctor.
I was going to say the Portreeve works quite well, and it's one of those things where you're sort of that guy looks familiar, but oh wait, is it? No. And then when it's revealed, it's sort of like, oh, I knew it. It works well
Yeah.
because it's not like completely obvious that it is him, but there's hints of it there. So I think we just saw that like the heat barrier effect. I think the heat barrier effect looks really cool.
Yeah, especially as we've just seen with the Brigadier putting his stick up and
Yeah,
it getting caught on fire.
it's a really
But,
cool
but if you
effect.
freeze it, yeah, if you freeze it, it looks like he's casting a spell.
Yeah.
Expelliarmus!
Expelliarmus. But yeah, no, for the time as well, it's a pretty cool like little bit of practical effects. It works super well, I
Yeah,
think.
with this coming up here when he throws the rock, the stick in.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
here it is. That's great.
Yeah, because it doesn't look like there's any jump in the film either. It looks like it was actually really done live, as it were. It's like not an editing trick. So yeah, a lot of the Briggs role in this is right. I'm gonna try and get in. I'll let you know if it works. It didn't work.
Hmm. Looks like the dome from the Simpsons movie. Jump!
Yeah, something with Delgado, you feel like every little movement of his eyes, every little twitch feels planned.
Yeah. Yeah, Delgado just has amazing eyes.
Yeah.
It's no wonder that I think it was Bob Holmes who, came up with the idea of the master hypnotizing people, because
Yeah.
when he says you will obey me, you just get hypnotized yourself.
I don't think I've ever met a fan who doesn't like Roger Delgado, actually.
No, neither have I. I don't think anyone has ever.
Yeah,
I actually can't really think of any criticisms of Delgado's master, other
me
than
neither.
probably just him showing up in every story in season 8 was a bit stupid.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because the
Yeah.
rest of them, I've heard criticisms from fans like Ainley and Sim and Gomez are too over the top, and Dewan's too over the top, and Ainley's too pantomime, and Eric Roberts was too camp. But like Delgado's, there's never been any sort of criticism of him, really. I guess because he was the original, it sort of set the tone.
I think it's written in the Doctor Who Constitution.
Yeah,
Thou shalt not criticise Delgado's
you shall
master.
not criticise Delgado.
And here comes Bok.
Yeah, here comes the Bok cliffhanger. The first reveal of old Angel Boy himself. The way he sort of jumps along and walks along, so jolly. Yeah, it's a pretty good
As it
cliffhanger.
works. Yeah.
Pretty good
They
cliffhanger.
make a they made an action figure of Bok, didn't they?
Yeah, they did it in the set with the master with his cloak on and the brigadier with like binoculars, and they called it the Dæmons figure set. I really want to get it, but I don't know how expensive it would be these days.
Well, I mean, if you want the Remembrance of the Daleks set, forget it. It's like £750 on
Yeah,
eBay.
it's weird how these things like some figures you can get for
Then
pennies,
again, with
and then
the histories of the Daleks sets we're getting with B&M, who knows? Maybe one day,
oh
maybe
yeah,
we'll get an an Imperial and Renegade Dalek together, or a Special Weapons Dalek reissued, who knows?
I would hope so. I reckon they'll get around to all of those eventually. Even if they do
Yeah.
things like online exclusives and stuff.
So, what do you think to Bok?
He's all right. He's a to be honest, he's a cute little angel boy.
Yeah.
He's cool though. It's a cool design. It gets a lot of stick for being like, oh, that's the one with the bloke in a leotard with wings. But you know, he's all right.
Yeah, brilliant. And I think this is the first time we get the Venusian Lullaby.
Oh yeah. I mean, the thing is, when you actually like look at Bok, it's a pretty complex costume actually.
Yeah, it is,
Like,
because he's got those wings on the back.
yeah, and like the way
Probably
the
can't,
mask goes on and stuff.
probably can't put a coat on or anything.
No, yeah. Because I know that when Michael Grade was on
Oh yeah.
Room 101, they showed a picture of Bok and they all poked fun at it.
Yeah.
That was one of the things.
There was no money thrown at it, even though I'm the controller of BBC One, and in order to make it look like less of an embarrassment, I could have thrown money at it, but nah.
I thought it was rubbish.
Look, if you hate Doctor Who, Mr. Grade, if you hate Doctor Who so much and think it's cheap, why don't you throw more money at it? The end.
He didn't he say like during the new series that he was like, oh yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, he said.
like, turned around.
I think after Rose Ed or Series 1, he did say I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. And I think it was like during Series 4 as well, when the big crossover was happening with all the shows and stuff. I think at that point he was like, oh, I don't have a Scooby-Doo what's going on in it, but I'm enjoying it. It's just like...
I mean, he said he didn't like science fiction that much, so...
Yeah,
I don't think anyone at the BBC did at the time.
This is the BBC.
The whole hypnotising people, I think that came from Robert Holmes.
Yeah.
And shrinking people as well.
Well, it's such a hallmark of this version of the character, isn't it? And doesn't really do that in the new series, really.
Yeah, I mean, the only time he ever hypnotised people, I think, in the new series is in the Series 3 finale when he hypnotises the whole world to think he's Harold Saxon and vote for him.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. That's the closest it comes to it, really. But even then, that sort of...
Yeah, he never stops and hypnotises anyone directly. Even though when Lucy Saxon tried to kill him in The End of Time, he could have just hypnotised her.
That's true, yeah.
Instead of just shouting no like
No!
Darth Vader.
No! That red velvet jacket looks awesome.
It does,
It
yeah.
looks really, really cool. I love that
But I bet if
Peter Capaldi brought that back and wore that.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm willing to bet if the third Doctor and the Delgado Master saw the 10th Doctor hug the Johnson Master, I think
Yeah.
the Master would have said, "Don't come near me again, please." The funny thing is, the Master is arrested at the end of this story, so yeah, it does feel like there is a finality to it with this season because they're trying to catch him.
Yeah, for sure. And then, of course, the next season begins with the Sea Devils is the no, of course it isn't. Sea Devils is later on in season 9, but I like that there's a bit of a gap, and them visiting the Master in prison is quite a cool thing as well.
Hmm. Yeah, and also you have to wonder though, how did his trial go down? You are sentenced to prison for bringing plastic aliens to Earth,
Yeah.
trying to start World War III, bringing golden energy sucking aliens to Earth, uh, trying to steal the Doomsday Weapon from the Time Lords, and summoning the devil himself back to Earth.
How do you
Where is
plead?
everyone? I mean, it makes more sense than in the TV movie,
Yeah.
where the Daleks, of all people, put him on trial.
Yeah,
What?
squeaky Daleks.
Exterminate, exterminate. I mean, they're the purple lawyer Daleks that we don't see.
Oh, yeah.
Him using a slideshow reminds me a lot of the Web of Fear episode 3, where they tell everyone how the invasion came about.
That's true, yeah.
They have to feel sorry for the Londoners in the Web of Fear because they get evacuated in the Web of Fear. Then, if we assume that Invasion of the Dinosaurs is like 5 years later, they're back to being evacuated again.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah, that's true.
Those poor people.
Bloody hell.
The government is changing their minds on evacuating London as much as COVID.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I'm sure Azal was referenced in the Satan Pit. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
He might have been one of the names mentioned.
Yeah, I think they mention him very briefly, yeah.
Yeah, because I think it's the Doctor who says you get representations of the beast right across the universe, the Dæmons, the Khalids,
Yes.
etc.
Yeah.
Right, I think this is where Matthew Corbett is.
Oh, okay. Oh, like in the crowd.
Yeah, and I think he is addressed as someone. I think his character does have a name.
Interesting.
Oh god, I just realised those cult members that chant with the Master, they remind me of the Neighbourhood Watch Alliance from Hot Fuzz.
Hey! The greater good.
We will use Azal to conquer the universe and make this place perfect again. But the good Harry will discover the Doctor in the hotel bedroom, having sadly tripped and broken his neck. My, the Doctor is tenacious, isn't he? I mean, Yates and Benton are clearly the two Andys.
I was going to say, yeah, there's definitely an Andes equivalent here.
Prick wanker. Do you find anything? Yeah, I was really shocked when I looked at my watch and realised I should have been in the pub by now. Yeah, I think here it is. Right, Matthew Colt. Come on, switch that camera around.
Is it Mr. Thorne? Is that him?
No, that's not.
No.
That's not him either. No, that's John Scott Martin.
Yeah.
Nope.
Nope. Nope. Nope. That's not him. Feels like on like a lineup.
The master is like those kids in The Bloodening. We know all your secrets. And Doctor, we know that your wife has been murdering the fishwife in the crumpet shop. You're the one who's been bad, Constable. You've been sneaking puddings. But how did you know? We know all your secrets.
You're right, yeah, the Brigadier's role in this is literally, right, we're going to try this to get in. I'll let you know if it works.
The Doctor always has a better... Yeah, no, I'm not going to say like a spare part.
Yeah. I always think that if this were... if the Third Doctor's era were made now, I feel like it would be torn apart online, because it'd be like, oh, the Doctor isn't someone who just works with the military on Earth. Mm-hmm. You know, I feel like it'd just be completely like torn apart.
Yeah, stories like The Green Death, Curse of Peladon,
yeah,
any Malcolm Hawke script was shown today, certain corners of the internet would be saying how awfully political it is and how it's indoctrinating viewers with a political agenda.
Doctor Who is dead.
He has destroyed everything that Doctor Who stands for. He's a fucking prick. I am done with the show. Except that time when any new news comes out, and I'm just going to make a 5-minute slideshow on it.
Oh, that video of that certain person crying because
Christ
over Chris
almighty.
Chibnall was one of the most painful things I have ever witnessed.
Yeah, if you're crying over a TV show in that way, people are going to laugh at you, mate.
Oh, jeez. I know we're in a pandemic, but Jesus, go outside.
Well, that was actually before the
Oh,
pandemic.
was it? Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, it would have been because
Yeah.
yeah. It's just I there are sometimes I wonder whether I wonder whether or not that the bullies were right to pick on nerds.
Yeah, because
It's-
they've now
it's-
turned into bullies themselves.
Jesus Christ. So the master saying all this reminds me of that time that the Doctor Who calendar put John Pertwee's page, and it had a picture of John Pertwee, and
Hmm.
the quote was a master quote.
Oh, what did it say?
It was like the whole theme of the calendar was like you had a picture of the Doctor and then a quote from that Doctor, and the third Doctor's page had like a quote, and it was like, "I only need two things: your submission and your obedience to my will."
Oh,
It's like
okay.
that's my favourite John Pertwee quote, the one where he's ordering me to obey.
I remember when the election happened last year, people were. I saw one tweet where they were like putting the Doctor, like what party would they vote for,
Yeah.
and they put the third Doctor as a conservative.
Oh
No,
God, no, definitely
he
not.
is. He is in every story he's in an anti-establishment
Yeah,
figure.
but
He is in no way a
would
conservative.
any of
Would a
the Doctors be
conservative
conservative?
The closest might be the first Doctor or the sixth, or maybe
Yeah,
Series 8, or maybe Series 812, maybe.
maybe. I can definitely see Hartnell. Series 812, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. The
Clara, I
sixth
have to go and
Doctor,
vote.
the sixth Doctor maybe, but I don't think any toy would dress in that
Yeah.
bright, colourful um, coat.
A Labour spy! Sent here to spy on me!
Oh, me!
Well,
We
we all
all know
know
the
what happened.
fate of alien spies!
You don't even know what a Perry is, do you, Perry?
Oh, God. Yes, here comes the From Russia with Love
Yeah,
stock explosion.
yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, because... Yeah, I'm kind of waiting for it to happen.
In the new series in World War Three, when Mickey's hacking into the unit website, the
Yeah.
password is Buffalo, and I like to think that probably Sergeant Benton invented that
Yeah.
password.
This is a really cool like action sequence, though.
That's true, yeah. You've got a chase with Bessie, a motorbike, and a
Yeah.
helicopter.
Feels like almost a precursor to that massive chase in Planet of the Spiders.
Yeah, you half expect the police to show up
Yeah.
and say, like, here now, what do you think you were doing going that fast? I'm genuinely surprised they didn't make Bessie fly.
Yeah, I'm shocked as well. But
Like like a Chitty Chitty Bang
I
Bang.
was gonna say yeah, like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Oh, you pretty chitty bang bang.
Oh yeah, it's not until the Time Monster they introduce the supersonic speed. Is that it?
Yeah, that's the supersonic speed.
Hyperspeed, yeah.
I wish we could do that to the Time Monster.
Won't give it supersonic speed.
Yeah, just so we could watch it sped up.
To be fair, it is one of those stories I could watch in one go because I actually don't find it that boring as a six-parter.
Yeah, fair enough.
Heck, I'd rather watch it over stories like Colony in Space or The Mutants, even though
Oh, I agree there.
objectively I know they're better.
I have a soft spot for The Mutants, but I agree about Colony in Space, yeah. I'm not sure why I have a soft spot for The Mutants, because on paper it looks like something I really wouldn't enjoy, but I actually I actually can have a good time with it.
Think because I've grown up and realised the similarities between the Earth Empire and the British Empire and
Yeah, for sure.
colonialism, apartheid, and giving countries independence. It's basically the same thing.
Yeah, for
In
sure.
fact, I think Bob Baker said that The Mutants was his favourite script he wrote for Doctor Who.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, like I said, it's I have a good time with it.
I'd say Bob Baker's best script for me is probably The Hand of Fear, along with Dave Martin, of course.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I kind of feel sorry for the pair because they had great ideas for the show, but they most of the time they were let down by the budget.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like
The Claws of Axos was going to have a giant carrot in it.
I feel like they
I'm
would.
not making that up.
I feel like they would flourish if they were writing for the show today.
Well, Bob Baker did ask Russell T Davies if he could write for the new series, but he either didn't get back to him or said no.
Yeah.
That's such a shame.
It would have been cool because I think the budget is now there and the technology is now there to actually fulfill the what they envisioned.
Oh god, it's like what the honest trailer said of classic Doctor Who. Journey along to a series where they predicted the Matrix and B-movie.
B-movie? Oh god.
It is virtually impossible for a bumblebee to fly. Yeah, this isn't like the Time Monster when the Master is literally next door.
Yeah.
Go over there, shoot him. The story's over.
He's right there.
I mean, they give a half-arsed explanation of the Doctor saying because it would be suicide to go over there without the protection of the TARDIS.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, but didn't you go over there when you didn't have the TARDIS in the Dæmons? Well, yes, but
forget about that.
Now this is such a rarity. It's a cliffhanger for the Master.
Yes, that's true. It's almost like we're watching the Master spin-off. It works well though, because you're like, oh Jesus, this is the big bad being reduced to a cowering wreck, really.
Yeah, that is cool. The Master's cliffhanger.
Yeah.
So yeah, we didn't spot Matthew Corbett, which is such a shame.
He will have
He
been
might be
in
in
there
the
somewhere.
credits, I'm not sure. No, he's not there. But yeah, the Sergeant in this is called Osgood.
I was going to say, we haven't mentioned old Osgood.
Yeah. Later character in the new series.
I wonder if her name was a reference to this character. Or was it just
Possibly,
coincidence? Yeah. I feel like...
I think it might have been.
Yeah. I don't know if you noticed, the credits are really wobbling up and down on this episode.
They are,
Like the
yeah.
actual
I mean,
Hellrind is
it's
kind
not
of...
like it's not like the Green Death where they're upside down
Yeah.
on some of the episodes.
Yeah, why is that?
No idea. It might just be an error.
So it's like the fact that I think it's the Awakening has purple text for some reason.
Oh, I've not noticed that.
Yeah, the text is purple, and I don't know why.
I know for season 10 they did try and put in a new theme, the Delaware theme,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, nobody liked it.
Nobody liked it.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it because it just sounds so weird, but
It
not in a
does,
good
yeah.
way.
It feels like the basis is there for a really cool theme, but it doesn't quite work.
It sounds like the Antiques Roadshow
Yeah.
version of the Doctor Who theme.
I feel like if you beefed it up and added some things to it, it could work quite well, but it just feels a bit empty. So this episode is a lot... Picture quality-wise, it's a lot better than the rest of the story.
Yeah.
This is the only one that still has the master tapes, I think.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, and you can definitely tell.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Namya
Namya
Siramad.
Siramad.
Back! And also, we're about to get a conflicting story for Atlantis here.
Oh, yeah.
Because Azal says, remember Atlantis.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, Doctor Who magazine a couple of years ago did put down a good theory. The original Atlantis we see in the Time Monster and Kronos being released was a result of Azal's actions, and the survivors of that Atlantis then travelled to an island in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean where they just renamed the city Atlantis,
Yeah, yeah.
where Professor Zaroff tried to raise it from the sea and destroy the world.
It's an interesting theory. It could work. I mean, I always think with Doctor Who, you can pretty much make anything work if you're a bit creative. Yeah, it's an interesting theory.
I think we get another reverse the polarity line here.
Yeah, we do.
There we are.
Reverse it.
The only piece of technobabble he could say.
Yeah.
Reverse the polarity.
Because he only says it a couple of times, like the full line, doesn't he? It's just... But it's become...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the time he just says reverse the polarity, but I think in the Sea Devils and the Five Doctors is the only time where he says it in full.
Yeah.
I've reversed the polarity of the neutron flow. Stephen Thorne as Azal, great.
Yeah, really good.
I mean, we saw him at VortCon, didn't we?
We did, yeah. Yes, I was about to say that, yeah.
Where he did the famous "A hero, I should have been a god."
Yes, yeah, and the whole room, like, started cheering.
Yeah.
He's got such a powerful voice to him. Really good.
Yeah. Perfect fit. And I do like how the Master is even terrified of him.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
The Master's giving a rock symbol.
I was going to say, yeah, rock on.
Yeah, here comes the line.
Yeah.
Mm.
Atlantis. Remember that time where that mental scientist man went a bit nuts and there were lots of fish people and shit?
You're not turning me into a fish!
Nothing in the world can stop me now.
Which is hilarious at the start of episode 4 when they use a really crap take instead.
Yeah, because he says it like, nothing in the world can stop me now.
It's bizarre. Nothing in the world
like
can
he's
stop me now. And he does like
It's
a...
like that Simpsons episode where Krusty reads off cue cards. Yeah. Tonight I'm going to suck your blood.
Well, the thing is, it's like he does like a Tommy Wiseau thing at the end, because he goes, "Nothing in the world can stop me now."
Oh, hey, doctor.
Anyway, doctor, how's your sex life?
Hey, Professor Zaroff, what's wrong with Jamie? Oh, I don't know. He's cranky today. If the whole world loved each other, the world would be a better place. I've seen things you wouldn't believe. Daleks that kill people, Cybermen that convert humans to them, the Master who's dominated worlds and try to destroy reality. What a story, Doctor. Oh yeah, they're gonna kill him with Mayday dancers.
Yes. The deadliest form of murder of all time.
I think this was shot in January, so
Yeah.
everything looks quite cold.
Yeah.
It wasn't really when the Tom Baker era started filming in started airing in autumn time, September, so they could have summer shoots.
I always like Doctor Who airing in the autumn time.
Yeah, it's why I loved. It's why I have fond memories of series 8 and 9 because you could actually watch it with the lights off and get scared. Unlike Blink, when it was shown on a day in June and the sun was still glaring through the window, so you couldn't get scared by it.
Yeah, I remember that. Like series 8 and 9 were. Although I'm not a fan of those series, I have fond memories of them airing just because that was when I was really getting into doing like YouTube and stuff and like settling down on Saturday nights to watch Doctor Who. Pitch black outside and yeah. Though I do like Doctor Who airing like in the April and like around Easter as well. That's nice too, but yeah, you can't beat autumn time.
Mm-hmm. I think Katie Manning also said this was one of her favourites, but her all-time favourite, I think, was The Mind of Evil.
Yeah, I think so. To be fair, she talks really... I don't think I've ever heard her say a bad word about anything she's done in Doctor Who.
Well, they did... I mean, her and John Pertwee did say... I think it was in the 90s at the Panoptica, and John Pertwee said... I mean, the one story I don't think we liked very much was the Day of the Daleks, because we had only 2 Daleks attacking the house.
Oh, yeah.
And I just said to the director, well, how can you surround a house with 2 Daleks?
Now,
Though
wasn't
interestingly enough, this was her audition
as I was
piece.
just about to say
Yeah.
that. Yeah, this was a audition piece, wasn't it? It's that was sort of
It was, yeah.
the starting point for this story, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was that, yeah.
And I know Ian Marter was considered for Captain Yates, but he couldn't commit to a regular role.
Yeah, yeah. Because Katie Manning's really short-sighted, isn't she? Yeah, so...
She is, yeah, and I think we missed it in episode 1 where they're reading the map and the doctor says to it would help if you had the map the right way around. And I think that might not have been in the
I was
script.
going
I
to
think
say,
she genuinely
yeah.
had it.
Might be an ad-lib, yeah.
He's got quite a lot of injuries on it.
I was going to say, yeah, he's a bit beaten up, isn't he? Like David Tennant in End of Time.
Yeah. Is Benton going to hear 5 knocks?
Yeah.
4 knocks, I mean.
Wow, we've mentioned Hot Fuzz quite a lot on this. Is Timothy Dalton going to come through with a massive gauntlet?
Get Timothy Dalton to play Azal if he ever comes back.
If they ever remake the Dæmons.
Well, he does. Well, in the End of Time, he has that gauntlet like
Yeah, yeah.
Thanos's that makes people disappear.
Every time I watch The End of Time, I can't unsee. It sounds so weird. I can't unsee his spit because
Oh yeah.
every time he talks, he like loses half of the saliva in his body. It looks like
Proper going for it.
he is. Yeah, yeah.
A classically trained actor. I've been in the theatre. Lock me up. I'm a slasher and I must be stopped.
Do feel free to spool through.
I wonder why this was the episode that they didn't bother wiping.
It's hard to tell because maybe some survive with thanks to dedicated fans and film collectors.
Yeah. That's the thing with all the missing episodes and the missing tapes for the Pertwee era. It's like there's no consistency at all because there was no organisation to it. It was just all a complete mess.
I mean, the odd thing is though, when they did like the Doctor's Years on the VHS, I'm surprised John Pertwee had the whole orphan episodes things like Hartnell and Troughton did. Because, you know, all of his stuff is complete, and he could have done something like the Tom Baker years VHS, where he sat down and watched a clip from each story. He could have just said, now some of these episodes only exist in black and white.
Yeah,
so if you see a black and white clip, do not adjust your set. Yeah. Because, yeah, I love the Tom Baker years VHS.
Yeah, it's a lot of
Because I
fun.
didn't know what it. Because when I heard it was on the season 12 box set, I had no idea what it was. But when I watched it, I was just hooked for like 3 hours of him just
Yeah.
watching clips.
I remember seeing that as because I was debating whether or not to get the season 12 box set on Blu-ray, and I was like,
I
ah, I
mean, it
don't
was
need
behind
it.
the sofa. It
Yeah,
was behind the sofa before behind the sofa was a thing.
yeah, exactly. I remember seeing that listed as the extras. I was like, oh, okay, this is great. I just it's let's try another one. Should we try another one? Let's try
Yeah.
another one.
Funny. The funny thing is though, during the Philip Hinchcliffe era, he's like, "Oh yes, I remember that one. It was such fun memory and fun times, wasn't it?" Then he gets to the Graham Williams era, and he's like, I don't remember that
Yeah.
one. Was that? It must have been near the one where we went to Paris. Let's try another.
Oh, that was very good. That was very good indeed. Let's try another one. This parts of this bit feel a bit like a James Bond thing. Like
Oh
these are kind
yeah.
of like undercover agents. Do you know what Do you know what I mean? It seems like I don't know. It just reminds me of a James Bond thing for some reason.
hmm Deadly Morris dancers.
Terrifying.
Oh yeah, she hits him over the head with the crystal ball. That
Yeah.
must have been full.
Pertwee's face just does sort of look like, oh bloody hell.
That's not one of the 10 commandments.
Burn the witch!
I'm telling you, people, the Earth revolves around the sun. Burn him!
I know every time I see cults, I just it always comes in my head from Temple of Doom, the whole Kalima, Kalima.
Burn him!
Burn with me.
Oh, good.
Or if it's David Tennant doing it,
Burn with me, Martha.
So apparently Matthew Corbett plays a character called Jones, because I'm just looking at the cast list.
Oh, okay. So
He might not be in. Might be hard to spot him.
yeah.
Actually, he's one of the cultists, apparently, with the Master.
Oh, really? Oh, right. Okay, fair
Yeah.
enough. That's probably quite hard to spot then, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Good thing he doesn't have Stormtrooper
Yeah.
Sergeant Benton.
God, you're right. It does look freezing, doesn't it? They look like
Oh yeah, Bessie's alive in this.
yes, yeah. It's alive. Oh, very very nice pun.
Sherlock Holmes line.
Bloody hell. John Levine like bounced off Bessie. He's still doing the rock on symbols.
As I was a rock star.
Azal. He says it with such glee.
Azal.
Hey.
That's not a bad effect.
It's not awful. It's there are worse in this era.
Yeah, that's a great cliffhanger because you think, where the hell can this go now?
It is a good cliffhanger.
The Master
Yeah.
has summoned the devil.
Because we're on to the final episode now, aren't we? Yeah.
We are, yeah.
It always does feel weird when you're watching a 5-parter because you're like, oh, have we got 2 more? No.
One more.
It's very well paced, this story. That is.
It is, yeah.
That is that.
I'm surprised they didn't do more 5-parters because there were 25 episodes a year, so.
Yeah.
And 5 serials, so 5 episodes each.
5 episodes do generally tend to work well because there's kind of at that ample point where they're not too short and they're not too long either. This last episode's pretty action-packed, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's pretty full-on.
Yeah, the Brigadier finally comes in and shows Bok who's boss.
Yeah.
Even though he's immune to bullets like most Doctor Who monsters.
Yeah. the Master doesn't really attempt to sort of push her away. He's just so confident in the fact that he's done it. He's just like, oh, you're too late. He just sort of lets her get on with it.
Plus, he doesn't interact with the Doctor until the very end. So
Very true, yeah.
this story's like, and as you say, with the cliffhanger, it's like the Master having his own spin-off.
Yeah. It always amazes me that Nicholas Courtney wore a fake mustache.
He did, yeah, because he did look.
So well.
Because without it, he looks quite young.
Yeah. He pulls it off really, really well.
Because he was what, only 40 when he played the Brigadier?
Yes, yeah. He wasn't as old as you sort of think he would be.
It's the first time that Doctor Who's done black magic, isn't it?
Yeah, and kind of experimental.
I mean, the only other one I can think of is the Mask of Mandragora.
Yeah,
where they do black magic.
That's true. Yeah.
It's a shame he can't make the TARDIS move by his own thoughts or remote control.
Yeah.
Though then again, by the two Doctors, he has the recall device. Well, all he has to do is whistle.
That's true. Yeah,
it
he
comes
does
to
the
him.
whole. Yeah. Where did you get that? I've always wanted one of those.
Some of us have earned these little privileges. I mean, it reminds me of Voyage of the Damned when the TARDIS drifts away from the Titanic. You know, if you had the recall device that your second incarnation had,
Yeah.
all you had to do was whistle,
Just that to
and
whistle
it'd come back to you.
The story would be over very, very quickly.
hmm
That's the longest episode of the new series, isn't it? Or did Day of the Doctor overtake it? Yeah.
I think it's the longest, yeah, it's like 75 minutes, same as Day of the Doctor. He's trying to suggest a plan, but the Doctor's just like, shut up, Benson.
Yeah.
They use some of this audio in Utopia when Professor Yana has the watch.
Yes, yeah. And it's very distinct
Yeah.
in the mix as well.
I mean, is the Derek Jacobi Master now referred to as the War Master?
Yeah, I suppose so. Which is...
But that
don't know.
contradicts Utopia, because shouldn't the Doctor recognise him?
That's the thing. I love Big
Unless
Finish,
he did recognise him and thought, nah, just a coincidence.
The thing with Big Finish is it's all very well taking it as canon, but in my mind, the show comes first, and if Big Finish contradicts
Yeah.
it, that's Big Finish's problem. The show comes first rather than the other way round.
Yeah, I remember someone saying they should get all the canon and lore that's explored in Big Finish and the novels into the main series. But
Yeah,
right, when you think about it, the fans with a capital F like us
yeah,
are pretty much a minority.
absolutely.
You can't just appeal to the 0.1% of fans. You've got to take in mind the casual audience members as well.
Exactly, exactly.
It's like what Russell T Davies said, listening to diehard fans of Doctor Who is like listening to members of the Flat Earth Society. It'd be mad to take them seriously.
That's very true.
I mean, if you replace diehard fans with Not My Doctors, then it's pretty similar. It's like listening to members of the
Yeah.
Flat Earth Society.
Very true.
You know, saying that women aren't in. Yeah, they say sexism doesn't exist anymore doesn't exist anymore. Yet they're making videos about a woman having a leading role on TV.
Saying that Tosin Cole can't have experienced racism because he's an actor.
Yeah, and women can't get sexually harassed in Hollywood.
Yeah.
You seriously gonna look me in the eye and say that?
Logic. But yeah, no, going back to Big Finish, it's I'm still waiting on my Linda spin-off.
Oh no.
London Investigation and Detective Agency.
No, I've got you covered. They're all dead, apart from Ursula and Elton, so no, they can't come back.
Come on, Big Finish.
No.
Do a box set that's basically a sitcom and just explore the period that we didn't see, where they were just meeting up and having tea and biscuits and playing bloody ELO songs. Genuinely, I haven't bought a Big Finish in a few years. I will pay all the money in the world.
Going to. Right. The Linda lot, they are those type of audience members who stop watching who say, "Oh, I like Doctor Who, but I stopped watching after David Tennant left." They are those types of fans, because when you watch Love and Monsters, you'll see they only focus on the 10th Doctor. They don't focus on any other incarnation.
Oh, I love him. There's a.
It's okay because they. But it's okay because they have each other. Pass me the fucking sick bucket.
There's a film called Love and Monsters coming out soon. And when I first saw it, I thought, oh my god, they're remaking Love and Monsters and stretching it out to feature length. Yes.
But I will say, Victor Kennedy is that perfect epitome of the type of fan who comes in, takes charge, gatekeeps and ruins everything.
Absolutely.
And on the inside, they're a fat, disgusting slob who probably lives in their mum's basement.
Well, wasn't he meant to be a thing? He was meant to be a representation of Ian Levine, wasn't he? It was supposed to be a subtle dig at Ian Levine.
I think so, yeah. I mean, I've always said the Absorbaloff should meet Dr. 13 and say, "Oh, I'm not absorbing you woman there. I'm going to absorb the first Doctor. Maybe he's got Dalek's master plan."
I want my meat.
Yeah. You can also compare it like this, when Rose says, "Is he a bit Slovene?" And he's like, "No." You could ask someone, "You're not my Doctor, are you?" "No, I'm their twin." What's the twin of Not My Doctor? True Doctor Who fan. True Doctor Who fan.
Yes. Oh, yes. Get the feeling that explosion was supposed to be a bit more spectacular than it actually was.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, as opposed to the explosion later on, which the BBC actually got complaints about because viewers thought they actually went and blew up a real church.
Oh yeah, this is it's at the very end. They genuinely thought they blew up a real church.
They genuinely thought that they went out, strapped some explosives to a church and blew it up.
Then again, in the Web of Fear, they genuinely thought they filmed in the London Underground.
Yes, didn't the owners of that particular part of the London Underground or something like lodge a complaint or something. It was like, hey, you can't film there.
You
And it was
disobeyed
like,
us.
we did it on a set.
Mm-hmm.
Dudley Simpson doing the music for this, isn't it?
Yep, like every story in the 70s, more or less.
Good old Dudders. We're very close to the famous chat with the wings there, 5 rounds rapid line.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a brilliant line.
It is, yeah, it's great.
It just
Isn't that the name of Nicholas Courtney's biography or something?
it is,
5
yeah,
Rounds Rapid?
yeah. It's perfectly cheesy and perfectly delivered. Chap with the wings there. I remember seeing one of Batman March's videos from when Series 8 was airing and Missy was revealed to be the Master. And I think he was saying, like, oh, what would happen if the Brigadier was fighting the Master now? Would it be chat with the tits there, 5 rounds rapid?
Oh, yeah.
The way Stephen Thorne kind of enunciates his words reminds me of Rassilon in the Five Doctors.
Yeah, it is quite similar.
Yeah. You seek immortality.
This is the game of Rassilon. You will win £1 million if you play the game of Rassilon. What is the answer? I think it's A1. Actually, no, it's Craig David.
I've never heard of
And
Craig
of course,
David.
and of course, Bock is immune to bullets.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
I love that line.
The angles of Azal looking like down on the Doctor and co. It looks really good. Really good direction.
It does, yeah. Oh yeah, he compares the Master to Hitler.
Yeah.
I mean, the third Doctor claims to have been at Queen Victoria's coronation.
Yeah, yeah.
And also being the cellmate of Walter Raleigh.
Very true, yeah. His hair is looking quite long in this, old Pertwee.
Yeah, it was quite short in season 7, but
It's getting longer and
from
longer.
this season onwards it gets very longer, yeah.
It's getting longer and longer.
I know his son Sean would often visit his dad on set. Yeah, when they were filming. I think he's got actually some of the props.
That is. I really
I think he's got
I really like Sean Pertwee a lot.
yeah, I think he's got a giant maggot at home.
Oh really? Oh, that is cool. Right.
Yeah, the funny thing about yeah, great thing about Pertwee is that I know there was an interview when he was promoting the Five Doctors, and someone asked him, "Has Doctor Who done wonders for you?" And he says, "Oh yes, wonderful. The repeats of it are marvelous."
It
Yeah, I do like how it just rebuilds itself.
is cool. It is really cool. I do. It's a cool effect as well. It's a really cool. I mean, it's very simple. It's a very, very simple thing to do, but it looks cool. And you will give your power to me.
Hmm. I like how Joe puts herself in front of the Doctor,
Yeah,
and it works. Actually, it's what ends up killing us out, or well, making him disappear.
it's very true. Yeah.
This Doctor is so shit that he doesn't even
Hey.
defeat the villain. Heck, the TARDIS takes down the villain in Boomtown. When did they ever say that the TARDIS could turn someone into an egg? Because I don't know how canon works, so... yeah.
Clearly, an agenda against males who don't have eggs and thus cannot
Yeah.
produce babies.
Yeah,
So
honestly,
stupid.
if you're one of those people who seems to have a problem with ethnic people and women being on TV and film, then maybe it says more about you as a person than the
Yeah.
actual entertainment you're watching.
Yeah, here's the church explosion
yes,
coming up.
oh. They really blew it up.
They really blew it up. The BBC are waging war on religion.
But I can see why. It's actually quite a convincing model.
It is bloody convincing. I think I don't think it would be if we didn't have that bit of hedge in front of it. But because we've got that little bit of sort of wall and a hedge in front of it, it actually, the scale is really good. And it actually does look like that it's actually there.
Now, what the Master does to Benton here is like in Superman 2 when he throws the cellophane S off his chest at the bad guy.
Yeah.
Benton really overreacts to it, and he should have just been like, "What was that?"
It's not that bit from Family Guy.
Yeah. Prepare to be destroyed, Superman.
Phew.
What was that?
Wow.
That was a minor inconvenience.
Yeah, well, didn't see that coming, did you? I'll say. Wow, yeah. Take that, you jerk.
I like how Bessie brings back the Master. Yeah, oh god, look at that. He overreacts to it so much.
Collapses on the floor.
Come on! It's only a cloak. It's not like he threw a brick at you.
It's how quickly he drops to the ground as well. It genuinely looks like he's been punched in the face or something. I like how...
And after 5 serials, he's finally been caught.
Yeah. I like how the Master just sort of, as he's coming in, just goes, "Alright, fair enough, you got me," and he just puts his hands up before he's even, like, stopped the car.
Well, at the end of Frontier in Space in the novelization, apparently he says, "Well, there's always tomorrow," when he's been defeated. Now, when he goes by the villagers, a lot of them boo him.
Yeah.
I think that's a bit too pantomime, but apparently the extras wanted to actually cheer him.
Oh, right. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I think it's because they really like Roger Delgado.
Yeah. Well, by all accounts, he was a really nice guy.
Mhm.
Boo.
Boo. It's brilliant.
To be fair, it is something like a small village would do. They just go out and start heckling the.
That is how you end the season, with them all dancing.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to end it off. Pertwee looks like he's having a
And
ball.
that's the great. Yeah, it's a great final shot to end on of the whole village.
Yeah, it's a really nice way to sort of end the year. It's like, we had fun. See you next year. It's a great way to end it.
Yeah, that was the Dæmons.
Yeah. Great story. Really good.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, this is
Still one of my favourite Pertwee stories.
Yeah, but like I said, this is the first time I've seen it in probably about 4 years, maybe even 5 years. It's been a long time.
Wow.
It's been a long, long time.
Yeah, I try to watch it every Halloween.
I can see why. Yeah. It is very good. Yeah.
There's Matthew Corbett.
Yeah. Jones.
We just saw Matthew Corbett's credit.
The Hunt for Matthew Corbett. It's very well paced. I know I said that before, but it's very, very. It's a well paced story. It all feels very satisfying. Yeah,
it's 6 episodes. It probably would have been too long.
I agree. Yeah.
5, at 4 it could have been rushed, but at 5 it's actually really perfect.
Yeah, it's perfectly paced. It's very good, very good. So that was it, everyone. I hope
the Dæmons.
The Dæmons is done. I hope you enjoyed the commentary. We'll be back next time with what will we be back with?
Kneel before the might of Sutek.
Oh yes, Pyramids of Mars.
That's the only hint I'm gonna give. Yep.
Pyramids of Mars is a great one, so we'll be back with that next time. In the meantime, go check out Isaac's channel, and yeah, we will see you next time.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.